My internet is being very spotty today.
Stupid internet.
I know. I don't understand what's happening. I pay for gig internet, guys. So much internet should be coming through this computer, and it just doesn't.
Infinite amount of internet coming right in.
All of the internet should funnel into here.
Hey, watch it with Dan and Tony. Hey, watch it with Dan and Tony. It's like watching, yeah.
Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan.
And I'm Tony.
And we're a couple of guys who watch movies and then speak at length about them.
At length. Let's emphasize the at length unnecessarily.
Have we ever gotten a show under an hour?
We have not, and I've started. I haven't told you this. I've started to cut things that I was like, you know what? That's not all that funny. Let's just cut that. It's unnecessary. So even with trimming, we still haven't gotten it down below an hour.
Cut things out of the show.
Not like a ton, but every once in a while, I'm just like, this bit didn't land. Let's get rid of that. Mostly my stuff.
Cut stuff out of the shows. Oh, that's
just
terrible.
My jokes that land flat.
It's just terrible.
I'm censoring myself.
This is like a sacred document, like Bill and Ted's. You know, it's like they're going to study these in the future and going to be like, these are like the documents are going to build society around.
But like the opposite. This is like what you don't do. Don't be like these guys. Be like the other guys.
So each week, one of us picks a movie, and then we both have to watch that movie, and then we discuss at length why we hated the movie, unless it was Cloud Atlas, in which case we actually give a sober review of the movie.
We got deep. It was thoughtful, and you were not happy with it.
It was not a funny episode because I was not happy. It was a very sober. You know,
I mean, you weren't unhappy at the time, but then the next week you were like, okay, we got to get back to hate watching. Okay. None of this nonsense.
Because and so somebody was like commenting on our Tenet one, and they were all like, review that tells. Yeah, I'm like, no, this is not a review channel.
It's not a review. No.
It's not a review channel. This is a comedy channel where we try.
It's comedic opinions.
Comedic opinions by Dan and Tony is what the name of this show should be. And this week we're doing a movie I picked, The Last Airbender from.
Is it a movie?
What?
Is it a movie? I would argue it might not be a movie.
There's a lot of issues. So this movie is based on Avatar: The Last Airbender, a long-running, very successful Nickelodeon cartoon, which is one of my favorite things in the world. It might be...
People love this thing.
I love this show. This is one of the few shows I've watched beginning to end twice. And I started rewatching it again, after we did this. And you'll just watch an episode, and then you're like, oh, just watch one more. Oh.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem with 22-minute episodes is you get to the end and you're like, I could definitely squeeze one more in for sure.
And, the show the original show just holds up incredibly well. And the show also just points to everything that's wrong with this poor movie. And there's nothing right about this movie. I don't think there's anything that I would say is right about the movie.
Not right, but there's one thing that like I think got close. Okay. But didn't quite get there, and that's just Dev Patel. I actually enjoyed him. I think he did the best he could with a terrible script, awful directing, and mediocre CGI. I think he did his best with that.
Your problem with this movie is if you come in uninitiated, there's way too much going on, and you can't unpack any of it.
Yeah, so that's okay. So Dan, mega fan of the show. Yeah. Loved the show, knew about it going into this movie. I had never seen an episode. I actually only tangentially knew the movie just because it's such a colossal, explosion. I was like, okay, I know of the movie. I have no idea what the cartoon's like. So I went in fresh like a baby. I went baby's eyes, coming in, and I was bewildered. I will be honest with you. I I didn't understand, I would say 80% of the setup of the movie. I didn't know the characters. I didn't understand who anyone was, not just in the movie, but just as like people. Nobody had personalities. And I was like, who likes this cartoon if everyone's like a two-dimensional idiot? Which is not, after I watched the movie this morning, before we shot this podcast, I watched a couple of episodes and I get it. It's great. The characters are fun. They're real characters. The action's pretty cool, which was not in this movie. I get it.
And that's why, yes, to the uninitiated, this movie is beyond baffling. To the initiated, they get every character. I mean, except Aang. Aang, they do him okay. Is
it Aang, Dan, or is it Ong? Is it Avatar, or is it Avatar? Why are they saying it so many different ways in the same movie? Well, I don't understand.
They say them differently in the movie than they are in the cartoon, which is like the most incomprehensible thing. Why you would change?
It doesn't make any sense to me. In one scene, someone was like, Ong, and then the next scene, someone was like, Aang, and I was like, is that the same character? Are there two different people that I'm not quite understanding? And then people are like, oh, he's the Avatar. He's the Avatar. I don't understand anything. And the cartoon doesn't seem to do that from what I saw. They're pretty clear on how to pronounce these things.
Yeah. And so there's that. And then the characters in the cartoon are just so well drawn, and they just are so developed over the course of, almost 60 episodes that these characters. And actually what's most interesting about the cartoon is the Dev Patel character, Zuko. He's the character that the show's actually about, strangely. He is the character who goes through this incredible character arc where at the beginning, he is there to capture the Avatar, to regain his father's love. And by the end, he has to stand against his father and prove himself as a man. And it's just, I'm spoilers.
Spoiler alert for the show, everybody. Now I'm not going to watch it.
Because the other characters, Aang is the Avatar and he has to save the world. He struggles with that and has to go through a bunch of stuff of detaching himself from things. But, and then the other.
But we know where he's going.
We know exactly.
He's kind of on this line.
Yes. He has to master his powers so that he can do this thing. Katara and Sokka are there to support him. And they do that. And Sokka starts out as this comical character and ends up as this very competent dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
He gets to be very competent, and he's not like fighting for his father's love, but he's proving that he is his father's child, essentially. And Katara is, goes to show that she's a badass, but she's also compassionate and caring, And then Toph is literally the greatest character in the world, and I love her so much. She's my hero, the Earthbender girl.
Oh, the one from the episode you sent me.
From the middle.
Okay, got it.
And she is just such a great character. And then
and that's her introduction. The season 2, episode 6, the Blind Bandit. That's the one you sent me to watch. That's her introduction somewhere in season 2 then.
And then she stays for the rest of the thing and is the, sort of gives us that sort of fourth, she's the Earthbender. We have the Waterbender. He's the Airbender. And then Zuko is the Firebender. He becomes his Firebender teacher in season 3.
Great stuff. That sounds amazing.
And I mean, and the other thing is, I don't know if you saw Zuko in some of those episodes, but he is hideously scarred. I mean,
yeah.
And in the movie, you're just like, yeah, he's got some scarring on his face, sort of.
Is it? I didn't even know it was scar. 100% honest, because I hadn't seen the show. I was like, what? Is he discolored here? I can't tell what's going on. Didn't look like a scar to me. It just looked like maybe a weird birthmark, maybe not. I had no idea.
And of course, the primary problem with the movie is they recast most of the characters as white people.
Well, just the protagonists. The antagonists are not, and that was problematic for me.
And that's the whole other thing is, I'm pretty sure the Fire Nation people are supposed to be standing for the Chinese. And in this movie, they made them all Indians. People from India. And
Yeah.
It's just super weird. It's just
It's all weird. Also, when I was watching it, I was like, are they supposed to be white? Because I don't. In my head, I was like, I don't feel like they're supposed to be white, and I was like, they couldn't have cast them because they were the best actors. Because if I'm being honest, they are garbage. Especially Crazy Eyes, the brother. What's his name again?
Sokka.
Yeah. This guy's he's got these big old bug eyes the whole movie. And I was like, what? Naomi and I are watching it and we're like, who is this guy? We know those eyes. Turns out he's Jasper in Twilight, your favorite movie. And he works in that movie because he just walks around like this the whole movie. But in this movie, he's supposed to be like a human, and he cannot play human. He is horrendous in this movie.
And that's one of the things in the cartoon is he sort of starts out as the comedic relief.
Oh, there's comedic relief because there's not comedic relief in this movie. Holy buckets.
And when you watch the cartoon, basically half of the cartoon is comedy. It's really very comedic.
And it's fun. And this, if it's not comedic, it's just fun. It's like a fun adventure. There's no fun in this movie. There's no jokes. There's no like fun, bubbly characters. Like in the cartoon, the little bit that I saw, Aang is like this, he's like a fun, naive kind of like, I'm just a kid. I'm having a good time. That sounded like Mickey Mouse, but you get it. It all just sucks.
And that's what one of the whole things about the cartoon is he is an airbender. He is light. He is easygoing. He is non-confrontational. He is let it blow past him, and he has to learn to actually confront and
kind of like focus it
up and become like the Avatar, who is this guy that embodies everything as opposed to just one thing. And it's a learning process that he has to go through. And so, like this Aang is just like, he's kind of not, there's not much there.
He's nothing. He's blah. he's a blah character.
And then the Katara is like, she's like a 9-year-old that you're just like, this girl is never going to be effective. You're not going to ever buy that she's anything. And, at a certain point, she's like the best waterbender in the world.
Yeah, she was kicking ass in the season 2 episode that you sent me, and I don't understand a lot of it, and I don't want to. I know we've already spent a lot of time with the comparison, and I don't want to do that too much with you having to explain to me the differences.
Sure.
So I'll try to keep that at a minimum, and we can just try to focus on how shitty this movie is.
We're going to.
I have so many questions, Dan, where I'm like, is this really the way it is in the show? Because woof.
So we start off water tribe, South Pole. They're white kids. It's weird for all of us. And the other thing is they're white kids, and then all the elders are like Eskimo indigenous type people. And you're like, wait,
it doesn't make any sense. Where did they come from? I don't know if I'm allowed to ask that, but I'm confused on who these kids' parents are.
Yes, we have no idea. I mean, I think they do shoehorn in a white Scandinavian grandmother for them. Which
I don't even remember.
Grandmother was white Scandinavian, and you're just like, but all the other ones they're messing with are indigenous people, and you're just like, I'm so confused.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
So we meet Katara and Sokka. They go, and then the water bubble bubbles up, and they find Aang encased in the thing along with his sky bison. Appa.
Which is I just watched the cartoon this morning. It's a pretty faithful recreation of that first intro without any of the fun or jokes.
Yes.
Because again, it was fun and they were joking and I was laughing. In the movie, it was just like, what's happening? Why am I seeing this right now?
Yeah, and the other thing with the trying to condense an entire season into this one movie is you don't ever really see anything, so you don't see them how they get him back. I'm sure in the cartoon they have to get him back to the thing, and that's an issue. And
there's a whole scene, several scenes where they're bonding. Aang is bonding with the children of the village, and then when he has to leave, they're all sad and they bond. And I was like, right now, nobody knows anybody, And they're all like, we have to go with him. He's our responsibility. How is he your responsibility? You found him in the ice. You've known him for 3 seconds, and then he left. Who cares? Goodbye. Bon voyage.
And that's the thing you can't build in a movie like this is you can't shortcut relationships.
They shortcut every. In fact, what I was thinking is this movie to me feels more like an outline of a movie,
Sure,
as opposed to a script. And they just skipped over the writing the script part, and they're just like, these are the bullet points that need to happen. I don't care how we get there. Just hit them. People will get it. But guess what? I didn't get it. I didn't get any of it.
So when Aang gets released, this light shoots up. The boat out there sees the light, and then amazingly, Prince Zuko is on that boat. So the boat comes in, and he's all like, something.
What was he already doing there?
Do
they explain that? Because why is he in Water Nation if he's Fire Nation?
I'm sure in the show there's an explanation, but in this thing there's no explanation. And,
I don't know.
And yeah, it's just weird. And so, of course, the Fire Nation rolls up and then starts tormenting the elders. And
do they? I mean, all he says is bring out your old people, and then they come out, and then the scene is immediately done. And then Aang is like, hey, don't hurt these people. He's like, okay, I won't. Let's go. I was like, what? There's no conflict here. All Dev Patel's like, hey, I'm a fire guy. Bring out your old people. And I was like, oh, shit, he's going to mess with these old people. Start torturing. He doesn't do anything.
No.
He throws a flame around in a circle, which he doesn't set anything on fire. It's just kind of like a show. He's like, oh, look, I move fire, which I think is pretty normal for this world because they're all firebend. I don't know, man. I don't understand any of this.
And that's sort of the whole thing is when the cartoon is like a kid's show. And so like in some of the battles, like the rockbender, the stonebenders, earthbenders will be throwing rocks at like Zuko and he'll be smashing them with his swords, or will be, people will smash fire out of it. And it's an anime. And so you do all that stuff, which is stylized. And so when you do it in a movie like this, we expect realism. So we expect when he brings out the elders, he's going to do something terrible. But it's a kid's movie that also has to appeal to adults, so we can't show him doing terrible. You can't show anything.
I guess.
But and so it doesn't work.
It doesn't work at all. I didn't feel like anyone was threatened, and I didn't feel like he was he just yelled a lot, but I didn't really get that he's a bad guy. He's just, from what I could tell, he's just kind of a loud guy. That doesn't mean anything to me.
And in the cartoon, we see he is constantly filled with rage. He is the embodiment of rage, and his path is...
hence the yelling.
...overcoming his rage, and Dev Patel just can't play that rage. He's just not a rage.
Sure.
Guy. He's not filled with hate. He's kind of filled with like puppy dog.
He might be after this movie, Dan. I don't know.
I told you I watched a thing where he talked about this movie and how he won't do Hollywood movies after this.
Which is the right move. It's the right move. He's great in everything he does. Other than this,
they take the Avatar prisoner. They give him a weird test to figure out that he's the Avatar. Whatever. Grandma sits.
Why does everyone? Another thing that I didn't understand at all. Why does everyone immediately know that he's this Airbender? Or the Avatar. Why does everyone know he's the Avatar?
Well, he says he's the Avatar, and because...
But the first person to say it is that grandma. She's like, you have to protect him because I believe he's the Avatar. Why? I don't... And I don't know. It was very confusing in this movie because immediately she was just like, oh, I think he's the Avatar. You guys better go protect him. But I was like, he hasn't done anything.
No. And
I don't know.
I mean, they all know that the Avatar is supposed to be an airbender, and he has the tattoos, which tells you he's an airbender. Because nobody else has those.
Okay, it's the henna tattoos. Got it.
Yes. And in the cartoon, it's just a blue, thing. In this thing, it's all intricate, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's fine. They didn't really... I don't feel like they said that. Maybe they did, and I just was too confused to understand it. But okay.
And that's the other thing is so many things happen in this movie that are just shorthanded in there because they know that everybody knows the plot, except everybody doesn't know the plot because a lot of people have not watched every episode of the cartoon.
I hadn't seen any.
So
Okay, sorry, I'm gonna stop slowing us down. We'll keep going.
So they have to go save him. He just sort of gets away. Like he just like flies over the bad guys and then flies away. And then the kids catch them. Then the kids are just there with Appa, and then they all just run away.
Yeah, what a useless scene this is. Nothing happens, but it's like 8 minutes of the thing, and I don't know. He's never in danger. The uncle guy is actually like really nice, which was very confusing to me. And he's like, "Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, if you pass the test, you're our prisoner. It's not a big deal, but you're here forever." And I was like, I don't understand what's happening. And then, yeah, he just kind of walks on walls and runs around. And then his friends are on a flying thing that I didn't understand at first. And then he's on a kite, which I didn't understand. I was like, what the fuck is this kite? And he flies with the kite. I was so confused this entire time, and nothing happens. Nothing is explained in this scene. It's just like, hey, we're gonna test, and you pass the test, so you're definitely the Avatar. Even though someone already said you're the Avatar, and you said you're the Avatar, now we know for sure you're the Avatar. And I was like, I don't care. I don't care about any of this.
Don't you think you would have put somebody in chains or like chained them to the floor before you gave them
anything? They said you're our prisoner, and then he just walks out the door. I don't understand.
So he goes back to the Southern Air Temple, and then we get the flying lemur bat comes up. How did you like the flying lemur bat, Momo?
Loved it. I wrote it down. I hope that he's a real character because I love this little guy.
And once again,
and then he was in the season 2 episode that you sent me, so I was very excited about it.
But they don't because he's another one of these comedic elements that you put in a cartoon because you need like another character. But in like this thing, you don't need Momo because Momo doesn't do anything because you're not a comedy.
He doesn't do anything. He doesn't even do anything funny. He's just kind of cute. And I was like, I would like one of those. That's it. That's all he did.
So, like, he freaks out because he sees a pile of skulls and he realizes all the Airbenders are dead.
And those are his friends, right? That's like where he came from, but then he ran away.
Those are all his bros. All his bros dead.
Okay.
All his teachers, all his bros, all dead. Everybody, because he's literally the last Airbender. He's the only guy on the planet who can bend air stuff because they're all dead. So he's going to have to be, sleeping with some ladies and making more Airbenders ASAP.
You got to get new ones. The next generation.
You got to get to work. And in the show, we actually meet guys that are like, what are they? They're like, they live in the swamp and they are like swamp benders or something. They have like special swamp bending powers. Oh, so great. Swamp bending.
All right.
So he goes into the spirit world and sees this dragon, and the dragon's like, you gotta do stuff.
Again, I have no idea what this is, Dan. Is this in the cartoon? Yeah. Because this doesn't who the hell is this dragon? There are no other dragons in the movie. Is this a real dragon? I have no idea. I still don't. I finished the movie. I have no idea who this dragon is. I don't know how it connects to the story at all. It's the most random thing I've ever seen.
So now we go back to Zuko. Zuko runs into the big boat, and then the other guy's on the big boat, and then the guy makes fun of Zuko, and then we cut to a scene. He gets into a Zuko and says, "Zuko, you're an asshole. Nobody likes you." And then Zuko's like out on the deck, and then there's like this weird practice session fight for no reason.
Hold on. I got a couple things to say. First of all, at this dinner, who is this guy who's on this boat? Is he just like a general in the army?
He's just another general. And
okay, so he's not like his uncle or anything.
No, so he's just supposed to be there to sort of be doing the same. Zuko's basically supposed to be looking for the Avatar in his own secret way, and then the big general is supposed to be looking for him in the primary.
In the big way. Okay, so he basically is like giving this speech to a hall of people that already know all of the information that he's saying. And I'm so like, I get that I'm learning this information, but everybody else already knows it. You have to find a more organic way to get this information in, because he's like, as you all know, the king has banished his son. I was like, yes, they know. Why are you telling them this? This doesn't make any sense. And then he's like, he's wearing the clothes of the fire armor, but he's not supposed to, but we're gonna let him. It is the worst dialogue I have ever heard in my life. And then it just ends. And then he just gets up and he's like, I'm mad, and walks outside. Why? What is happening? Who wrote this movie, Dan?
No one wrote this movie.
And then this fight scene. Let's talk about this fight scene. There are a total of maybe one cut in the entire fight scene. It's like locked off on a tripod, and it's not even capturing everything. It's like waist up on Dev Patel, and then he's just like turning his back, doing these kind of sort of moves. The camera doesn't move at all. This is not an action scene. This is someone forgot to stop rolling the camera on rehearsal, and then they're like, you know what? We got it. Let's just move on. I hate this movie, Dan. I hate it.
I'm so happy. Oh, that was so joyous. So I think, now our guys are in the Earth Kingdom. Just for unknowable reason, our heroes have shown up in the Earth Kingdom because we want to see some Earth Kingdom thing. And
we're about to talk about some shit here, Dan.
We are? Aang calls... Oh, yeah, and then there's fire soldiers, and then they come, and then Aang's like, you gotta fight them, Earthbenders! And then there's this sort of...
So let's talk about this for a second, Dan.
Everybody sort of runs away, and it's sort of over, and they're like...
We are in Earth Country. Yeah, I don't know what you call it. Earth Nation? Sorry.
We're in the Earth Country.
We are surrounded by Earth. And these Earth Benders are somehow like captive to the Firebenders? But they have infinite Earth around them. How are they in any danger at all? We are in their territory. And then Aang has to be the one that's being like, hey, throw a rock at them, guys. And they're like, oh, this is Earth? Yeah, let's defend ourselves. What is going on? They could do anything they want right now. They are surrounded by so much Earth and very little fire. They could take this, and all they do, I don't know if you remember this scene, it takes 4 people to throw a rock this size. One guy's like, I'm going to lift it. The next guy's like, I'm going to move it. And then the next guy's like, I'm going to catapult it. And it is so dumb. Everything that happens here is so dumb.
And then all the firebender soldiers are just like running away from the one rock.
Yeah, because they're like, oh no, they realize they're on Earth. Let's get out of here. Let's two-step it out of here, guys. It's the dumbest movie we've ever done.
I love that you hate this movie more than I do, which is so great. Because I hate it. I just hate it on the principle of it being just a failure. You hate it because you tried to watch it as a movie, and it's not even a movie.
It's not a movie. It's barely an outline of a movie.
So there's they're like, oh yeah, and here's like this secret vault of magic scrolls, and then they go and they take the one magic scroll, which actually plays no role in anything.
Ever again. You never see it again. I don't even know what it is.
And so then Aang is like, we should just go from small town to small town and inspire everybody to rise up against the Fire Nation, which I'm sure they did in the cartoon, and it was nice, but it just doesn't make any sense in this movie.
It doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense.
Jesus. Oh, we can stop and rally the people. So then we have Zuko's off hunting him in secret. And then we start the whole thing, which is going to be the thing that's going to melt Tony's brain. And the funniest thing is, it's one of the weaknesses of the initial cartoon is the whole major setup, which is this whole moon and ocean spirits that the Fire Nation is trying to destroy so they can destroy the northern water tribe. And
is that what's happening? Because the way you just described it isn't even the way that I understand it in this movie, but that's great. That's great.
So basically, they want to go and kill these two spirits so that it'll weaken the tribe up north.
Sure.
And
Yeah, which I don't understand.
They've
But
gotten these magic scrolls which explain everything to them from this great library, which they bring up like 2 or 3 times to the absolute confusion of Tony because we don't see this,
Yeah.
we don't see their plans, and they just talk and talk and talk about these plans that when they come to fruition, just barely make any sense.
Dan, that's being generous. Listen, there is so much telling that happens in this movie and no doing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not a thing. They just, half the time it's a voiceover that's like reading a book to me. This is an audiobook with pictures. That's what this movie is. And the audiobook doesn't make any fucking sense. So it's very hard to follow.
The truth, this movie should have just been about Zuko hunting them and him, getting to a place and falling behind, and then him rallying people to try to capture them one last time up in the north. That's what it should have been. They should have skipped all the spirit stuff, just thrown that in the trash, because it's interesting in the show, in the cartoon, but it's actually kind of weird in the cartoon also. It was not one of the strongest parts of the cartoon.
Sure. But you also have 20 episodes to talk about it. When it has to happen in 4 minutes in this movie to get it in this, it's so much nonsense happening at one time that by the time you get to your battle over whatever the fuck we're talking about, I'm so out. I'm so over I'm like, I don't know who's who. I don't know what they're after. I don't know why they're fighting. And to be honest, they're not fighting. There's very little fighting in this movie, which is ridiculous. There's a lot of running away, and there's a lot of settling things before a fight happens, which is bullshit. There's a lot of okay, we're about to fight. You know what? What if we didn't fight? What if instead we just kind of left? And then they're like, yeah, great, let's do that. Everyone's safe.
So Aang just goes, peace out. I'm going to the Northern Air Temple. You guys stay here, you water tribers, you're on your own. And once again, this is a thing that I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure this happens in the cartoon. But it's I'm going to go up there. You guys sort of a splitting of things. He doesn't just sort of ditch them. But in this thing,
he does.
It feels like he just ditches their asses. It's like, outie.
Yeah, big time.
So he goes up there, and this one guy comes out and is like, come with me to this secret place. And then he's like, aha, I tricked you. And then he sort of sneaks away. It's just so weird.
You're covering a lot. Again, just like the movie, you're covering a lot of ground that doesn't make any sense to me. Because one, there's just this old guy. So this temple is abandoned from what I can tell. There's one old man who's, I think, an Earth Nation guy. Is that what he said?
Yeah, I think he is.
Why is he in the temple?
I don't know.
What's he even doing up there? I have no idea. How did he know the Avatar was coming to be up there to set the trap? I have no idea. But this guy's up and he's like, oh, they didn't destroy everything. There's a room of sculptures. And I was like, what? What's happening? Then they go into a room literally filled with sculptures, which I think are Aang in past lives.
You're Tony, you've got something right. Not that they did sort of, they said it, but you are correct.
I mean, they brush over it, but I still don't understand what that means. I don't understand.
And once again, in the cartoon, he's constantly going in the spirit world, and at times he has to talk to all his different incarnations, and they give him help.
Great. And I'm sure that sounds like it makes perfect sense.
Yes.
In this movie, I have no idea. And then this motherfucker, this old guy, he's like, I'm so sorry, but you've made me poor, is essentially what he said. And so you understand what I'm going to do now. And I was like, hold the phone. I don't understand what you're doing now. What do you mean? How does he make you poor? One, and how is you turning him in going to fix anything? I don't understand anything. And then you're holding your knife like this, which isn't how you hold a knife to be dangerous. I thought he was going to stab himself in the heart. For whatever reason, I was like, oh, is he going to commit suicide? I don't understand. What is this? And then he just slinks away. And I was like, okay, great. We didn't need that guy at all. Aang could have just discovered this room, and then fire people could have pounced on him. I have no idea what's happening.
So they capture Aang. Commander Zhao has him. He interrogates them. He's like, he chains Aang up or whatever. And then the masked demon breaks in, kills everybody and breaks Aang out.
Is this costume similar to the cartoon? Because in real life, it looks stupid. It looks really bad.
Exactly the same as the cartoon.
Okay, then I'll allow it because good for them on staying true to the core material. But woof, it looks really dumb in live action.
Yeah,
and I have no idea what's happening. Just some weird monkey ninja guy coming in, like doing flips and like going on walls, as far as I can tell, and he's very quiet. I don't know, man.
So he breaks Aang out, and then we're outside, and now we have the scene that I call the Battle of the Doors.
Yes.
And
they just spin.
It's the worst Battle of the Doors ever, because these doors should be like smacking guys, and a guy should get in, and then a door should smack, and the doors are just kind of like whoosh, 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 whoosh.
They're just spinning. Nobody's in them. No one's getting hit. He's just turning doors. Is that intimidating? Maybe the people are like, oh, he's moving the doors. Let's not go in. But he's in a circle and nobody ever comes into the circle. This isn't a fight. He's just blowing doors open and closed over and over.
And then the mask, then like Aang's gonna escape, but then he's like the mask guy, so he goes over to the mask guy and they try and help, and then the mask guy holds his sword up to Aang's throat and is like, "Oh, kill him!" And so he drags him across this super long bridge, and then this one archer goes, pew! And the thing comes down and hits the masked man.
Just gets him
perfectly.
Just gets him good.
And I think that was the thing that made me the most angry in the movie, which I have to watch the cartoon and see how they do it and how they explain how this one guy's able to shoot this one arrow that perfectly hits one person perfectly.
And it's a long distance. It's not like it's close.
And then, of course, we get the whole thing, which is like literally the most absurd thing, which is the thing you can get away with in a cartoon, which he's like, oh, don't kill him because he'll just come back and there'll be another Avatar. Which you're like, that's like a placeholder bullshit thing that you could do in a cartoon. But in this thing where it's real life, where you're like, well, yeah, kill him, and then he's the problem fucking 20 years from now. Because
a baby
come out as an Avatar and be, being able to...
Yeah, you don't come out the womb full powered. And also, I don't understand how they're chosen, like reborn. Like, how do you know?
Yeah.
Like, is the baby born with power? I don't understand all that, which, whatever, it is what it is. But you can't have this big battle, and then at the end of it be like, well, don't kill him, because he's just going to be reborn. Then why are you fighting, guys? What is the point of the battle? I don't even understand what your desires are at this point. Are you trying to capture him? And then what? What are you going to do? Just hold him there?
And then
I don't know the plan.
If you're trying to capture him, you're going to have a bunch of capture materials. You're going to have nets and all sorts of things.
Sure.
Ropes over him and do all sorts of things like that.
You're not just going to let him stand in a circle of doors for about 10 minutes doing nothing.
So it turns out the masked guy is Zuko, and Zuko was grabbing him to try to take him back himself to make his dad happy. Whatever.
Sure. Now, which his dad doesn't even want him to do it. I'm a little confused because the dad was talking to the general guy. I don't know names.
General Zhao.
Zhao, okay. And he's like, oh, you better hope my son doesn't do it first, because otherwise he'll come back as a hero.
Okay.
And it's like, well, don't you want that?
And the other thing is, and that's why they completely play the dad wrong, is the dad disrespects the son. He thinks his son is a loser.
Okay.
And the daughter is the person who he actually sort of grooms up. Because...
Okay, who we meet at the end of this movie.
Yes. Whoever played her, she's terrible, and we're not going to even talk.
Listen, she fits right in. Okay.
Same casting agent. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
So him actually like saying positive things about his son doesn't make any sense, because the dad, at least, I mean, like I said, I haven't rewatched the whole first season in a long time, so I don't know. I don't really remember. Maybe the dad was a little more compassionate towards Zuko, but in the second
I don't think so.
In the second and third seasons, he's like, my son's an asshole. He can go screw himself. I don't care. Okay. You're not my son.
All right, that all checks out.
You're an asshole. So Zuko,
you're an asshole, Leo.
Oh God, now we're getting all okay. So now we're getting the game, aren't we? Yeah, we're getting there. So Appa swims to the North Pole, and we're at the North Pole, and Sokka immediately is like in love with the princess. which is like really weird.
Dan, I don't understand. It's just one line that they talk in voiceover as well. It's just like they were immediately in love, and then it cuts like back and forth. She's like smiling at him, and he's doing his crazy eyes, and he's like, and then they're together. What? Why? What? And then they don't really do anything. But then she later dies, and I think I'm supposed to be sad, but I'm not. Because I'm like, I've known her for 30 seconds of screen time in this movie. I don't know who she is. I don't know what she does. I don't know if she's important. I don't know anything. And they have no connection whatsoever. No chemistry on screen. They don't do it. Holy crap.
And once again, I watched a little bit of the cartoon, and he ends up sort of being like her guardian for a while. And he does funny things, and she is charmed by him because and that's the whole thing about Sokka is he's funny and charming.
Yeah.
That's why girls like
him. In the cartoon, I can totally see someone like digging him. It takes a little while. He has to break down your defenses because he's not super reliable, whatever. He does nothing in this movie. But you're right. At some point, her dad is like, I need someone to guard the princess, right? And then, and he's like, I'll do it. And the dad was like, I thought you'd say you'd do it. He's 9 years old. He has done nothing to prove that he's capable of anything. If you are the king or whatever and you need protection on your daughter, you're going to hire one of your million soldiers. Doesn't make any sense. This movie's bad.
So we do the second bit about the stolen scrolls. We show some sparring. Sokka's in love. And I wrote this down. This movie is as fun to watch as watching people do Tai Chi.
Is that the one they do on the beach that's very slow?
Yes.
Got it.
That's how fun this movie is to watch. And then Zuko, he swims in and breaks through the ice using his hot hands. Then Aang goes and...
Oh! I didn't understand what he was doing. He was just kind of birthing himself through the ice, and I was like, I don't understand what's happening right now.
So
I got you. Yeah, he was warming it up. Got it.
Aang goes to like the secret thing where the magic fish are, and then he's like, I'm going to meditate. So he's meditating, and then Zuko finds that place somehow, and then we have Zuko versus Katara. They fight. She loses. And then
do they fight?
Yeah, they do sort of fight. Because she sucks. So, Zuko just kicks her ass.
Oh, yeah, she's incapable of anything in the movie.
Yeah, she's garbage. She's like super hot garbage. And then Aang and Zuko fight. And then, wait, Katara sees the fire. Wait. Then they... Then Katara sees
What's going on?
It was them that fought the first, right? It was the two of them that fought first, right?
Yeah, she's there because she introduces. She's like, "I'm Katara. I'm the last waterbender or some shit." I don't know what she says.
Oh, and then Aang and Zuko fight somewhere else, and then they see that fire, and so then they go over there, and then Katara is able to completely freeze Zuko in a block of ice.
Yes. Yeah. And then as they're leaving this room, Aang is like, "Hey, we could be friends, you know."
Why would he say that?
What? Why would he say what? Based on what, Aang? First of all, you guys seem to be mortal enemies. Like, I don't know. You barely know each other, but you're definitely going at each other. Second, he's too old for you, man. He looks like he's 27 years old. You're 10. You're not going to be friends, you idiot. Anyhow.
So then we do this whole thing where General Zhao comes in there and he captures one of the fish, and then he stabs the fish to death, and then the moon turns red, and then they start losing, and then the girl comes in there, and we figure out that she's the moon spirit embodied her with life, and so she can give her life to bring the moon spirit fish back to life. And in the cartoon, this is really kind of tragic because her and Zuko are not Zuko and Sokka are in love. I mean, they're in real love, and
they're not in love in this movie.
It is really harsh on him because his like girlfriend is like, I'm gonna turn myself into the moon spirit and be gone, and you're gonna be left here, and I'm gonna be a moon spirit and go screw yourself. Once again, these two spirits are living in this cave and like nobody guards it. Whatever.
So Dan, so that was your explanation of this scene.
Yeah.
Here's what I saw.
What did she
Are you ready for this? Glowing fish. Sky turns color for no reason whatsoever. Girl looks like she gets stabbed, but then she's fine, but then she falls into water and all of a sudden she's dead. Guy cries for no reason because they don't know each other, and I have no idea what happened. That's the end of the scene, and I'm like, why is she dead? She just dropped into water. She's fine. She's fine. You guys just pull her out of the water. But she's dead. I don't know what happened. I don't know where she went. She just went swimming and then she's dead. I have no idea what happened.
She probably went swimming right after she ate, and so she cramped up.
she got a cramp.
Don't go swimming right after you eat because you get a cramp.
You got to wait 30 minutes, guys. Safety first.
Everyone stops. Zuko and the general, Zuko fights the general, I think. I don't know. And now Aang gets unleashed. Aang goes into the Avatar state. You don't even know what the Avatar state is, do you?
I don't even know what that means. What do you... He's the state of being the Avatar. Isn't that always? He's the Avatar. I have no idea.
No, there's this magical state, where when his eyes go white, he goes...
When he glows.
When he glows and his eyes go white and he floats up, he's in the Avatar state where he's like this... Basically, he's like this super being where he's like got all the powers and can do basically anything.
Okay.
And basically, he stops being like himself generally. He like literally is not even, he's functioning at this higher level. And so he's not like going like, hey, I'm Wacky Aang. He's like, I am power. And so
okay, cool. That'd be great.
If you're screwing with his shit, he's going to blow you away. And so he goes into the Avatar state and makes a big wave, and then the boats just sort of put away.
Okay, great. So I don't understand. Listen, again, there's no fight scene here. He literally just lifts water and then puts it back down, and then everyone runs away.
Yeah.
I don't even know what happened. Why? Why are they running away, Dan?
Because
he didn't do anything. He didn't hurt anybody.
And then everybody bows, including all the Fire Nation guys that have been left behind. But now, Is that what usually happens? Do the other guys usually bow? I don't know.
I mean, they might bow if he had done something like really powerful and like looked like a god, and they were like, "Oh, wow, you're all powerful, and maybe we do need you to guide." I don't know. I don't know why they're bowing. I don't understand. He didn't do anything. She's a waterbender too. She probably could have done the same thing. I'm assuming she can't, but I don't know that.
He scared everybody.
This movie doesn't tell me that.
And that's what I'm sure if we watch the cartoon, he scares everybody with the big waves, and they're all like, "Okay, we're out of here." And that was the other thing is,
sure,
the moon is back, and so with the moon risen, all the waterbenders are way more powerful than all the firebenders, and they're going to lose. But they didn't really. They just had like those weird 4 guys show up. And those guys were like, we're the 4 guys that are going to scare you. I mean, that was like one of my other things I hated the most is those 4 guys run up and we're like, who are these 4 guys? I do not know.
Is that on the bridge or whatever? Yeah, I have no idea who they are. I still don't. I don't have a clue. This movie doesn't make any sense.
There's literally one scene earlier, which I must have notated it, where it's something about Zuko's talking about, and he like talks about like something that they did supposedly during the movie, and they didn't even put that scene in the movie. And he's still referencing a scene that they've literally cut out of the movie.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me in the least. And I wouldn't pick up on it because I don't understand anything they're saying already. So if he's referencing something that didn't happen, I'm like, yeah, just like everything else you've referenced.
It's like in Dr. Dolittle where everybody's, they have those things where everybody's like, and now we're friends even after that time we were on the boat and the thing happened where we stopped being friends for a few minutes. And I was like, you didn't. Why do we still have this scene in here that talks about a scene that's not in the movie? That's the whole idea of editing is you cut out the scenes that reference scenes that you already cut out. You can't.
Yeah. Okay. And now, oh wait, there's still one more scene at the end, right?
Where we introduce, what's her name?
The daughter. Yeah. And he says something, I wrote it down because I don't even understand what he's talking about. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, in 3 years,
Yeah.
something about a comet.
Frozen's comet is going to come.
And then we'll have more firepower?
Yeah. So basically, this comet's going to come, and this is and once it's in the sky, all the Firebenders' powers are going to be multiplied, and they're going to be super powerful, and that's when he's going to burn the world.
Great.
And
so why is he attacking now? If he has a plan for the future in 3 years, shouldn't he just be biding his time? This movie is useless in his plan. It's not even part of it.
More importantly, if he knows that's going to happen in 3 years, and this is once again, I'm sure as you're writing through the show, you maybe not are planning on Sozin's comet coming, and so you're not going to tell people don't kill the Avatar because otherwise you just kill the Avatar because you know you're going to be all powerful in 3 years.
Right, and he'll be at most 3 years old. So he can't do anything. Kill him now. I don't.
But in a cartoon
sense.
done on Nickelodeon, you don't really talk about killing people and doing. There's this flexibility. It's a cartoon, and it's a myth, and it's a legend. In a movie, you just don't get away. You can't get away with all that stuff.
Yeah, this movie doesn't make any sense. And the only other thing the only thing I really want to talk about is throughout the movie, when people use their bending powers, there's almost always one character that's like, whoa, how's he doing that? What's he doing? Which I'm very confused about because this seems like the world in general knows about bending these powers.
Everybody.
And so when someone uses it, they should know.
Yes.
So I don't understand. And then at one point, the fire uncle, right, that's with the bad guy?
Yeah.
Okay. He uses fire out of nothing, I think.
Yeah.
And then a fire guy is like, how's he doing that?
He starts shooting fire out of his hands.
Is that not a normal power? This movie doesn't tell me if that's like an extraordinary power or not.
Yes. Typically, like if you're a waterbender in the middle of the desert, you don't have access to any water.
You're in trouble.
And so like, at one point, she has to like pull water down from a cloud, or she usually has like a little vessel that she pulls water out of.
Okay, so you're just manipulating the element. You can't create the element except for this one guy.
Yes.
Apparently.
Yes.
Who doesn't do much with it. Okay, got it. This movie doesn't make any sense. I thank God there's not. This was supposed to be a trilogy, right? Originally, I think I read that. I
would assume, yeah.
Thank God they didn't make any more movies, which is kind of surprising because it didn't do terrible at the box office, did it?
I didn't look at the numbers, but I mean, we all know it was considered a horrible creative flop. So,
well, sure, yeah, no, it's a garbage movie, and that's saying something in this world where we're like, no, that movie's so bad that even if it makes money, we can't make more. That's unique to Hollywood. Usually, they're like, well, it's bad, but it made money. Let's just keep going. I mean, you got to be a little embarrassed that you're the one movie that they're like, you may have made more than your budget, but we can't do more just because we'll have to kill ourselves.
Yeah, I think they caught so much flack over this that they knew they couldn't, you'd have to recast the whole movie and start over again. And which is what they should have. It's just so wrong to try to shoehorn all this into one thing. It just proves that you can't do that. I mean, maybe someone's done that somewhere where you took something that wasn't like an entire arc and then like shoehorned it into nothing. I don't know. Maybe it exists out there. I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think it's possible.
Usually you don't want to go from TV show to movie because TV show just has so much time. And that's why I always think all Star Trek movies failed so badly is you're trying to move from TV show to movie and you're just never going to get the depth of character that exists in the TV show in the movie.
Which is why, in my opinion, the reboot of Star Trek works. Because they're different characters, even though they're the same characters. So we're slowly learning new things about them, as opposed to either A, you're supposed to already know everything about them for the movie, or B, we're reteaching you the same things you already know from the show, only it's all different and condensed. So that's bad too. But if you're going with brand new versions of the characters, I think it can work, and I think Star Trek worked.
I mean, yes, it works better that way. And I mean, the other ones, they always just tried to tell a new adventure, you know?
For sure.
And,
yeah.
You know, you try and just make an adventure that's 2 hours long. But once again, I you know, it's like a lot of those things kind of failed because it's just harder to, I don't know, whatever.
It is. I mean, it is. Yeah. I don't
It's
know.
hard.
It's not a great idea.
It's hard work. So
it's hard work and nobody puts in the effort.
We give this one the thumbs down. Tony proclaims it incomprehensible. I proclaim it offensive.
I mean, here's the problem, right? It's bad on two counts. One, if you love and seen the show, it fails on every level to recreate that show. If you've never seen the show, it fails to even like be comprehensible in the slightest bit. It's not even a movie. I don't understand anything that happened. So nobody's happy. Nobody. Not a single person had a good time in that theater, I guarantee
Except for the Jasper fans who just want to see those eyes.
He's like a frog. He's like a frog human. He can't do anything.
Now's the point in the show where we talk about something we like this week. Tony's going to do something. Typically we're supposed to do like a TV show or a movie or something in media. Tony's going to like tell his favorite joke from a stand-up comedy special, a book he read when he was 3.
Kind of. That's actually funny. Hold on. It is a movie. I'm going to go first. I don't know if I was going to go first. It's a movie based off of books I read when I was a child. So there's that. Dan, Fear Street 1994 dropped on Netflix.
Yeah, it's good.
It is magnificent. I love it. It's simultaneously an homage to 90s horror films and also just a good 90s horror film.
Okay.
Like, I think it's up. It's not a Scream. It's not, Scream is on a different level, obviously. Yeah. But it's I Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legends. It is up there with some of the best B horror movies of the 90s. And we watched it last night, and I had a fucking blast.
Okay.
I can't wait they're releasing one for 3 Fridays in a row, and they're going backwards in time. So the next one's like a 70s horror movie. I'm pumped. I am ready to go. It was great.
So someone that understands a genre and gives the fans what they want, which is, in my opinion, exactly what you want to do at this point. If you can understand your lane and give the people what they want, you will make the people very happy because so much stuff is so garbagey that they don't even understand what it is they're supposed to be producing. Well, I'm going to pick
it was great.
A YouTube channel, which I discovered at random. It's this girl whose name is Karen Puzzles. I mean, I'm sure she has a real name. And she just literally puts puzzles together on YouTube. And it's just so YouTube-y. She's such a nerd.
It's the most YouTube video ever.
We have a friend who, Suke, who does comedy, and she's like, working on a character reel, and I was like, you should go watch Karen Puzzles, and you should do Karen Puzzles. Or
do her
character like that, because they're just like, it's just these obsessive channels where they obsess over a thing, and you get to watch her like put puzzle together, and she's like, I've been working on this one for 8 hours, my back kind of hurts, and I want to go lay on the couch, and it's just like, I don't know. It's not funny, but it's funny and weird. The world we live in now, where
it's certainly quirky.
Where people can like put a video of them putting together a puzzle and get 250,000 views.
I don't understand this world.
I love this
world. I don't belong here.
It's so weird. So go check out Karen Puzzles if you want to have some fun. And I mean, that's the thing is you'll just like put it on and she'll just, and she was doing this one about this puzzle that came out in the 80s that if you solve the puzzle and then there was like a secret code on the puzzle, if you solve the secret code, you win $100,000.
What?
And so she like did her research and then puts the puzzle together and then talks about the whole thing and then talks about how people actually finally won it and how it was constructed. And it's just super interesting. It's like I sat there for
That's
for
great.
40 minutes listening to her talk about this stupid puzzle.
Yeah. I mean, that's wild. I don't know. I'll have to check it out. Before I judge, I'll check it out.
You should judge, because judge first. This is the internet.
Oh, that's, I mean, you know my motto. Judge first, ask questions later.
So, Tony, now you get to pick another movie for us to watch. Hopefully it's another blockbuster failure, because we're deep in summer and we've done a number of blockbuster. I mean, I don't know.
We have. And I think I love this trend. And I think we're going to keep going. I'm also keeping on the trend of anime this week. I feel like this is just like a lateral move. Do you know what it is already?
Are we going to see Miss Johansson?
Who's that?
Scarlett Johansson.
I don't. What is
Ghost in the Shell?
What is she in?
Ghost in the Shell.
Oh no! You're right. I forgot.
Which is another one that needs to be on the list.
Maybe we'll do that next time.
Oh no!
But this time we're going to Dragon Ball Z Evolution.
What? Is it a cartoon? Is it live action?
No, it's the live action Dragon Ball Z movie that came out 1 year before The Last Airbender.
Oh, no,
and
it's a live action Dragon Ball Z.
There is a live action Dragon Ball Z movie in 2009. Yeah, 2009.
Oh,
no. It's gonna be good. I promise you that. Let me look at. Does it say how much it? The budget was only $30 million. Right. So they didn't put in a lot of effort to this thing.
Now,
I'm very excited.
Do you know have you ever watched Dragon Ball Z the cartoon? I have not.
I've watched here and there. It's one of those things that's way deeper than I ever care to dive into, but I've seen episodes. I kind of get the general idea, and it's fun.
So you have a basic idea. What I do not. I've never seen an episode. I know some of the names of the characters. I know what they sort of look like. There's like some of them are all roided out and really weird looking.
Yeah, how are they going to do that? I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it.
I'm so excited. Dragon Ball Z. I'm so excited. Oh,
it's going to be
great summer of terrible movies.
I wish this was every summer.
You remember when we used to do Brad Pitt turning into an old man into a baby? Remember we used to do brainy shit like that?
Yeah, I do. And I get it. That has its merits. But I have so much fun watching these really stupid.
I'm excited.
I'm ready.
Well, this has been Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm shedding all over the place because I'm a big animal. And if you like what you see, smash that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button 10, 20, 30 times, but do it an odd amount of times, because each time you hit it, it goes on, then off, on, then off. So hit it an odd amount of times, otherwise you'll not have subscribed.
So just make sure you end on a subscribe. Come on, guys, you can do it.
And we'll be seeing you next week.
Goodbye, everybody.
Hey, watch it!